Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of David. Today's video, I don't even know what the title is to this right now, to be honest. I'll figure out a title. It's just a mix of things. What would I think of this title? In any case, I should be studying right now. I'm going to tell you about my day yesterday first. My first day of a new module in university, and then I'm going to talk about today. I don't know what title to give this because, and anyways, I'll think of the title then. But I say I should be. I hope you guys are doing well, by the way. I should be doing my university, taking every second to catch up and read and all that. But if you are a Christian YouTube creator, right, video, you'll understand that sometimes you just have to get something out, right? And that's how I feel right now because of something that I just experienced. I'm going to get to that in a second. I think you'll find this very interesting. Part of this video is about Jesus, God, being in heaven and then coming down to us. And I'll make my way there, don't worry. So I just came back. I'm in university. I just started a new module. And I don't have breaks, like summer breaks in my university. It's a fast-paced university. The longest, you have is maybe between a module is maybe like 7 days. And anyway, so like when you're going from one to the next, they don't tell you the book until about 2 weeks to go, till when you're almost done. Each module is 2 months. It's 8 weeks, and you have to set everything up. You got to get your books, attach it to your like I'm doing a Bachelor of Science for addictions counseling online, but it's interactive. You talk to people, you do. And like through the computer and all that type of stuff. And so it's important to have everything ready. If you know me, if you understand my life and the things that I go through, all the pains and stuff like that, I set everything up and okay, it looks good. And because the last time I did this, everything went wrong on the first day. It wasn't my fault. I tried to set everything up correctly. The morning I woke up, I had acute sinusitis. I just had acute sinusitis. The nerves in my upper back were gone. Yeah, I've been fine all the days before that. It's just like everything came down at once. I'm like, okay, I'm going to study right in the morning when I wake up, take my pain meds, eat my food, and study. And I open it up, I can't get into either course. That morning I spent, I spoke to maybe 8 people telling the same story all day. In any case, it wasn't my fault. It was, it was the school's fault. But I'm just telling you the things that are not unnatural in my life to go through. Like if you'd ever look at your life, you'd say, no, I don't want to do that. If you ever saw the plan for your life, right? Some of the things. And you know what? I think they're in preparation for... We go through trials and tribulations, and man, if you had my body and you understood what I went through, going through that on the first day. And I just came back from the nursing home. And I go there and I have free reign to go to any room I want, knock on any door I want. If the person doesn't want to talk to me, there's all different types of states. It could be mental state, it could be both. Dementia, there's a lot of Alzheimer's and a lot of different dementia. Just dementia, right? Alzheimer's accounts for 80% of all dementias. So there are other types of dementias, but sometimes people just really want to talk, right? and I'll sit down and I'll talk to them about anything. I can pretty much talk about anything. And it's the experiences that have been in my life, if you know my story, which really, really helped me in those situations. So I'll go in there and I'll talk to a few people or whatever. Then I also started getting into feeding dementia patients. Now, I've been doing that now for probably 2 months, almost every day. And it feels so good. Like, you know what? That's not work for me. It's not work for me. And you try to be as calm and good as you can with them. You try to be gentle and all that type of stuff. And anyways, so I helped feed a few people tonight. Then afterwards, I was I just got back from there, so that I'm kind of like, I haven't eaten yet, any of that stuff, so far away from a pain dose. One woman came up to me, and this is on the first floor of the nursing home. First, second, third, fourth, fifth floor. The first and the second are the worst. That's where I guess you could call it, in their last phases of dementia. And still there are people that differ widely, right? And it goes day to day. In any case, a woman came up to me. I guess they're starting to trust me, right? You know how hard it is to trust? People can't even remember. They go, they talk to you, they walk away, they come back, they don't even remember you. Let me pace here for a second. I'm going to tell a good story. So a woman came up to me. They're really suspicious, or they'll follow you, or they'll, I have both. So she came up, she said, I have someone who really needs information. So there's two women with dementia standing there, and I said, okay, and then she left, and I stayed with this woman. And it's the environment, right? The environment can be very tough on someone. And when I was trying to talk to her, I'm just like, what's wrong? And then start talking about family and things like that. You start learning about the things that you don't say. Like, don't say, like, do you remember this when, those types of things. And I just said to her, do you want to go to your room in privacy? She's like, yes. So go down to her room and go in and close the door, right? And there was just like, I don't know how to explain it. This is far from work. To be able to put a smile on their face, take them out of that environment, and be as calm as you can. It really pays off. I was probably in there for maybe half an hour talking about her paintings, her family, and like, I couldn't help but think that on my way home after that, she seemed so much happier in those moments than she was, versus pacing the hallway, and that everyone surrounding you is, in some state like that. So I'm walking home, and I had a thought, and I thought, I thought it was like, please God, don't punish me for thinking this, but our journey in this life, once you're born again, is to become like Jesus Christ. I can't even begin to tell you the trials and tribulations that I've been through in my life. It's not worth repeating them, but they're a lot. Pain and emotional and a lot of stuff. To gain back that love. Do you remember what love feels like? Do you remember what being innocent is like? If you want to be born again, you're going to have to try to get to that place by approaching God like a child. He'll change you from the inside out. And hopefully, if you suffer with a lot of emotional pain, trauma, physical pain, which can rob you of all feeling, you can get that back. And I am a testament to that. I had the worst pain diseases on earth, more than a few of them. And the one I have is the worst, or adhesive arachnoiditis. In any case, I had a thought as I was walking home. I usually walk home with a lot of, I feel filled, my spirit is filled, because I helped someone with dementia, put a smile on their face, even made them laugh. I can make them laugh. I had the thought, and after I had this thought, I'm like, please don't punish me for this, Lord. I know He's not going to punish me, but it just came to my mind, like, to help someone is a big thing to God. I thought, I want to be Jesus to this person. I don't want to be in place of Christ, which is the thought that, I'm like, I didn't mean that, God knows your thoughts, every thought you have. To be that person, to be like that to that person, you and I should become Christ-like. That is the antithesis of this journey, is it not? So anyone out there, there's more to this, and because it led to one thought to another. Anyone out there who has lost that feeling of love because of trauma, because of physical pain, emotional pain, which is the same as trauma, you can get that back, or at least you can get part of that back. You turn to God, you put your faith in God. I can promise you that if you approach God like you're really searching for God, you can feel that again. Those feelings you had when you were a kid, but guess what? They're probably going to be even better. Let me pace again, because just my back. My back isn't out. It's because I walked home and I haven't done any of this stuff here yet. But just imagine this thing I'm going to tell you next. And when I say, I don't have the time, I mean like I should be studying, using every bit of time I have. There's so much reading to do. I'm not saying that doing this is, you know what I mean, right? I think God is more important right now to get that message out, because maybe I won't feel the same way at that time. In any case, one thought led to another. And when I thought Lord, I don't mean to be you, right? We want to be like you. That's the goal, right? Which is an amazing thing. And when we go to heaven, right, when we are taken up in the air, we will have the same glory as God, as Jesus. Can you imagine that? That is the promise. Who wouldn't want that? So I started to think, no wonder the devil, who sinned first, no wonder he was jealous. Right? Can you imagine? And I know that's hard to split Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? I understand that. I'm not going to get into that. It's not worth disputing. But he was jealous of God. Satan was given the most amazing gifts. He was at least at the top of the angels with the Archangel Michael. Probably, the number one, right? And he squandered that. Can you imagine? This is what people don't understand. They say, why do we suffer? Why do this and that? And the answer always is in Genesis. You know, God said, you shall surely die. This was the curse. Eve was deceived. The devil deceived her. Then Adam ate as well. Because of that, we suffered. Said, if you eat of the tree, you shall surely die. And they died before 1,000 years old. That Jesus, can you imagine? Can you imagine being Jesus Christ? Can you imagine being God? That's what I'm saying. Just for a second, imagine that when you're in front of someone. Our goal is to be like God to them, to treat them. It's what the law hangs off, you know, the love thy neighbor and that type of thing. I don't mean to be in God's place. You guys understand my reasoning. That if we would surely die, and you know they got the law and everything like that, the only way to break that curse, Jesus knew. The same Jesus in all throughout the Old Testament. Think of when Elijah was being hunted, right, by Jezebel, and he goes and he takes, what is that, 40-day journey, and he goes into the mountain. He hides in the cave, and why are you here, Elijah? Right? God says, and remember he showed him all those things. You know, he says, I'm not in the wind, I'm not in the earthquake, I'm not in the, you know, that kind of power unimaginable. It's just the things he did there to show Elijah were things that you and I can understand. That he loved us enough. So when I'm with a person, I care about them. I want to reflect Jesus onto them so they remember. Not only that, if it's proper, I will ask him about God, but I won't push. I don't do that. I don't push things on people. But he knew that we would be cursed forever. Jesus in heaven on his throne. He knew that we would be cursed forever, and we would never have heaven. We would never have any of that. No hope at all. Because he said, if you eat of the tree of the fruit of, you know, of good and evil, of knowledge, you shall surely die. People say God cannot lie. That's not true. God will not lie from promises, because remember, he sent a lying spirit. Do you remember that part of the Bible? God can do anything. Don't, you know, there's probably people out there saying that he can't do one thing or whatever. He doesn't stand for that. He will never do that, right? Depending. So you go back to that story, but that, I don't want to get to that story. He cared enough that he would go from that place to be born as a baby. And I wonder, so when he was a baby, he didn't know anything. He went through all the same things that you and I went through. It's disputed at what age he knew whatever he did, but it's quite clear at like 12 or 13, he was very proficient in the scriptures. He must have known something by then. I got to pace again. This is why I don't make videos at this time. Further away from pain dose and colic for my throat, esophagus. So in spasm. That whatever he knew, whatever, right? There's disputes, but it's quite clear, I believe. You know, I have to go about my father's business. I believe he knew everything. I believe he knew everything. There's disputes about that. But I think the evidence points otherwise. I believe that he knew what he had to do. Excuse me. He knew what he had to do. And I wonder this. as I'm sure many of you do. How did he do it? When he was in heaven, what was he thinking? Okay, he was thinking, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come. But he came as a human being. Can you imagine the most strength that you've needed for something like going through pain, going through people persecuting you, all that type of stuff? He went through all of that. He was never seen sinning one time. And it says in the Bible that Jesus says, did you see me sin one time? Can you imagine his brothers, James and Joseph and whoever, his brothers and sisters and Mary, never ever seeing him sin till he was 30 years old, right? Because that's when his thing began. That is truly amazing. It would take some type of discipline to never sin, never swear, never do those things. But he did. And he made a public spectacle, right? As it says. Is that not insane? How did he do it? In any case, I'm just going to leave it there for you to imagine. And he kept the law. He kept all, I don't know what it is, 612 or 412 laws, and he fulfilled it. And he fulfilled it because he cared enough about you and I to go to the millennial kingdom and then to go to heaven. The millennial kingdom will be heaven for us, but I can't really question what, I can't go that far because I don't know that much. But the millennial kingdom will be truly amazing. He came down here and suffered for you and I. I don't want to give a common refrain. I want to tell you in a different way. That's just so utterly unthinkable, amazing, awesome that he wanted to do that because he knew that we would die and we would be nothing.